Shane could tell that his entire life had led him to this moment. He was an apostle of cinema. He felt proud and a little more than unworthy of such high calling. God damn, I wish Will Patton would narrate my life. Train Dreams. No, it's not the new Thomas the Tank Engine movie. It's a new adaptation of the Dennis Johnson novella, directed by Clint Bentley, who you may know as a co-writer of last year's Sing Sing. Spoiler alert, I've read or actually listened to Dennis Johnson's novella, and it is a deeply poetic and somber and folksy tale of just an ordinary man. This is a story of love, loss, and time that takes its time, so you wouldn't expect Netflix to be the one to acquire this. Well, given Netflix's track record of burying anything that isn't slop, I fear a little for this movie, because Train Dreams is one of the best films of the year. Joel Edgerton plays Robert Granger, a logger in the early 1900s. His is a solitary existence, going from job to job, working from sundown to sunup in back-breaking conditions. But he finds a light in the world with Felicity Jones's Gladys. They instantly fall in love, and soon they're married. They have a child together and have a cute little cabin in the woods. It's the definition of picturesque. But Robert's life goes with the seasons. One season he's with his family, and the next he has to go back to logging. And that time away from his family starts to weigh on him, until an even greater loss happens and Robert's whole life is thrown out of sorts. Now he's a man without a home, just letting the years go by. Can Robert forgive himself and move on with the time he has left? If you'll notice about that plot summary, well, this is a movie that asks the big questions, but they're big questions being asked about an ordinary man. Robert isn't some great mythic folk hero, he's just a working man. He's a man that uses his hands and wants to get back to his family. And that's what separates this from so many movies that try to be about the big American experience. They're about the rich oil man, or the pioneer, or the conqueror, or the colonizer, or a man of history. But Robert is just a man. And here he's embodied by Joel Edgerton as a regular guy of dignity, poise, pragmatism, and of deep regret. Because as he works, he experiences the changes in the country. But these aren't gigantic changes, they're small, mundane changes. How the landscape changes, literally and figuratively. How people are accepted in the in-group and then suddenly kicked out as part of the out-group. How the seasons change, how technology changes. And here's Robert, just trying to make sense of it all. Why does he lose so much? Can he ever get it back? What does it all mean to just be a man who's lost so much and is existing in time? These are profound questions on their face, and this is ultimately a profound movie, but it never loses sight of the human element. It never tries to go so big. I mean, there are shades here of Terrence Malick. I think that's the filmmaker this will most be compared to. It's shot mostly in the natural world with natural light. It's about humans existing with nature. It's got dreamy magic hour shots. But whereas Malick has pretty much thrown away plot in his movies in the last few years, this does have a plot. It follows the passage of time, so there is a point A and a point B to Robert's journey. In a way, it's kind of like old Terrence Malick, his Days of Heaven, his The New World. And Joel Edgerton is just such a compelling actor. He can do so much with saying so little. He's just an actor that you enjoy watching on screen. And he gives such a natural and wounded and vulnerable performance. It's just about existing, which in some ways is the hardest thing for an actor to do. And credit to director Clint Bentley and his co-writer Greg Quidar, who know a little something about human behavior. Their first film, Jockey, was a contemporary story about a jockey battling his demons. Their film last year, Sing Sing, followed a troupe of actors in the Sing Sing prison system. These are both environments where you wouldn't expect so much humanity to sprout up in. Likewise here, the rough terrain of Washington State, where a tree can kill you as easily as the flu, almost feels like a whole other world. It's still foreign, unexplored, you can still get lost in it. And it's still quiet. This is a quiet and dreamy and poetic film. And yeah, I'm sure some of you are thinking, oh no, it's art house garbage. But there's also humor and vitality. And in that way, this is an overwhelming film. The rich cinematography, the dreamy editing, and the melancholic score by Bryce Dessner, it all creates this enrapturing and intoxicating experience. And underscoring it all is that Will Patton narration. which works so incredibly well in the audiobook and translates perfectly to the film. It gives this folksy, matter of fact tone to the entire proceedings. The film tells us that a regular person has their own epic journey. We have our own demons and our loves and our losses. Each of our lives is this grand poem, if you want to call it that. But by the time you get to the end of this film, with its montage and its summation of this man's life, and I guess just life as a whole, it's a totally overwhelming and unforgettable experience. Train Dreams is an outstanding adaptation of an already great novella anchored by a phenomenal Joel Edgerton performance. It's one of the best films of the year. I give it an essential 4.5 stars out of 5. If you like this review, please like and subscribe or follow me on Letterboxd at RamirezS316. Will Patton, take it away. Shane felt good about the work he had done. He had been honest and plain, and in his own small way, he would die a legend.